If you log into your banking app today and find your balance at zero, the official response will likely be that the responsibility falls on you. They will tell you that you were careless with your passwords or that you clicked on a suspicious link. However, after taking a close look at the current security infrastructure, a much more disturbing perspective emerges. There is a significant gap between what we perceive as foolproof security and the vulnerabilities that the system often fails to communicate openly to avoid causing panic. In my opinion, we are operating with modern interfaces that sometimes try to hide deep technological weaknesses rooted in the very foundations of the internet. Today, I am going to reveal the critical points that occur when you believe your money is safe. Because in this digital environment, the weakest link is not always the user, but rather an over-reliance on technology. This video is not meant to alarm you, but to give you the defense tools that nobody else explains. Many users trust that every interaction with their phone is private by default. Although we are assured that financial apps are digital fortresses, there is a technical phenomenon you should know about: screen overlays, or overlay attacks. Imagine you download a simple utility, like a photo editor, a calculator, or a weather tool. In certain scenarios, malicious apps that manage to bypass official store filters can create an invisible layer, identical to a bank's interface. This layer activates at the exact millisecond the system detects you are trying to access your funds. You think you are entering your credentials in a secure environment, but you might actually be typing them into a hidden form that captures every keystroke. Data from global cybersecurity firms indicates that these types of banking Trojans have shown significant growth, especially on devices that are not up to date with their security patches. From my point of view, user convenience is prioritized so much that stricter security measures, such as blocking all screenshots or requiring dynamic keyboards, are avoided because they might be annoying for the average customer. To prevent this, my advice is to never use autofill for financial passwords. Also, if you notice the login screen flicker, change color for a second, or take longer than usual to load, close the app immediately and restart your device. You could be interrupting an overlay process in real time. This precaution is not paranoia, it is basic digital hygiene. It is standard practice for institutions to use text messages as a second security step to validate transactions. It is presented as an extra layer of protection, but from a technical standpoint, it is one of the most vulnerable options available in the year 2026. The system that allows messages to travel between carriers, known as SS7, was designed decades ago without the encryption standards that modern banking requires. This allows for attacks known as SIM swapping, where a third party can convince the phone company to transfer your number to a new card. Once they have your number, they have the master key to your bank. This is a documented risk that has affected thousands of users globally, where the attacker does not need to hack the bank, but simply trick the phone company. I believe the use of text messages persists, mainly because it is a low-cost and easy-to-implement solution for the masses. If you are looking for real protection, my recommendation is to move toward authentication apps that generate codes locally on your device, or even better, physical security keys. Check today if your financial platform allows you to disable text messages as a recovery method. If it does, do it immediately. Do not let your security depend on a message traveling over a network that was never designed to be private. Have you noticed that sometimes the app does not ask for your password if you closed it just a few seconds ago? This is due to session persistence through tokens. To improve your experience and avoid having to identify yourself every time you switch windows, the system saves a temporary digital key in the device's memory. The risk arises when unwanted software, hidden in another seemingly harmless app, manages to infiltrate and clone that key. With that token, an attacker does not need to know your password or bypass facial recognition. They simply tell the server that the session is already validated by you. Various international security agencies have warned about the rise of this type of session hijacking. In my experience, the best prevention is to break the habit of simply minimizing the app. Get used to looking for the Log Out button formally within the app menu every time you finish checking your balance or making a payment. By doing this, you command the server to destroy that digital token instantly. It is better to lose 3 seconds logging back in next time than to leave a digital door open for anyone with the right software to walk through. We are entering an era where our physical characteristics, which we always considered unique, may no longer be definitive proof of identity. Facial and voice recognition are the current standards, but the emerging trend is the use of artificial intelligence to create real-time synthetic representations known as deep fakes. Today, with just a few seconds of your voice taken from a social media video, an algorithm can replicate your tone, your pauses, and your pitch with astonishing accuracy. This means that the voice validation systems many entities use to authorize movements over the phone could soon be vulnerable. In my analysis, biometrics are moving from being the ultimate solution to a factor that requires additional human verification. A smart prevention measure for the near future is to establish voice codes or secret keywords with your institution that have nothing to do with your personal data. Avoid using your children's names or birth dates. Choose something abstract. Also, be mindful of how much biometric information you share in public. In today's world, your face and your voice are, quite literally, the keys to your safe. The final point we must analyze coldly is the legal liability framework we accept when opening an account. In many digital service contracts, it is stated that if a transaction originates from a device the system recognizes as trusted or linked, the institution is often exempt from liability unless the customer can prove a direct failure in the entity's servers. It is a complex situation where, in practice, the security risk of the personal device is transferred almost entirely to the user. I have seen how this legal vacuum causes frustration for victims who face exhausting processes to try to recover their funds. The trend I see for the future is that financial security will stop being something the bank gives us and become a shared responsibility. This means we must act as our own security officers. Prevention here includes having a device dedicated exclusively to finances, avoiding transactions on public Wi-Fi networks, and above all, keeping your phone's operating system always updated. Every update usually closes one of these cracks that hackers try to exploit. No security system, no matter how advanced, can stop a human error induced by manipulation. Social engineering is the most effective technique because it does not hack computers, it hacks people. Scammers use a sense of urgency. Your account has been blocked. There is a suspicious charge of $1,000, or we need to validate your identity right now. Under pressure, the human brain activates survival mode and shuts down critical thinking. Legitimate banks will never ask you for codes over the phone or pressure you to move money to external, secure accounts. If you receive a call that makes you feel anxious, hang up, breathe, call the number on the back of your physical card yourself. That small 30-second pause is the difference between protecting your assets or losing them. My personal opinion is that fear is the most powerful tool for criminals. If you learn to detect artificial urgency, you instantly become immune to 90% of modern frauds. Managing your capital today requires much more than knowing how to earn money. It requires mastery in monitoring the tools we use to move it. We have accepted the convenience of mobile apps as a standard, but we must not forget that this convenience is a compromise. My reflection for you is not to see these warnings as a reason to stop using technology, but as a manual to use it with wisdom. The system has its limits, and knowing those limits is what allows you to navigate safely. My ultimate advice for you is fragmentation. Never keep all your operating assets and life savings in a single account, linked to a mobile app that you carry in your pocket everywhere. Use the concept of cold storage. Accounts in institutions that require physical validation, multiple signatures, or that simply do not have direct access from a quick app. Convenience is great for paying for coffee or rent, but it is dangerous for protecting your family's legacy. As the investor Charlie Munger once said, "It is remarkable how much long-term advantage people like us have gotten by trying to be consistently not stupid instead of trying to be very intelligent." In financial security, you do not need to be a cybersecurity genius. You just need to not make the common mistakes that the interface invites you to ignore. Stay informed, be skeptical of things that seem too easy, and remember that in the digital age, your attention and your caution are your most valuable assets. Your bank provides the platform, but you are the one who has the final say on who enters it.